Hey everyone. So what I'll be doing today is transferring some data from this card here, SDXC, which is one of the memory cards I use with the drone and the GoPro, and I'll be backing up its contents to this, which is that 2 terabyte Samsung drive that Radic bought. Now you'll notice here it doesn't actually say 2 terabyte, it says 1.8 terabyte because with any drive you never get the full capacity. Even this one here that's supposed to be 500 is showing up as 467 because the file system on the drive needs to reserve some of that space for its use. And so you'll never get the full 2 terabyte, 2000, you'll never get the full 2 TB, you'll get 1.8. So anyway, I'll begin the copy by simply selecting SDXC and then moving it over here and then holding down, I believe, the control key. Yeah, and so you see there it says copy to Orlando. So now if I was to let go of my mouse, the copying process should begin. But just before I begin the copy, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and use another program here called WinDIR, and I'll select that same SD card and we can get a look at what sort of data is on the card. So here we now have a visual representation of the data that's on the card, and you can see different sections. So some of these will be GoPro files and some will be DJI. So the ones that start with GH are GoPro, and then the files that start with DJI are the drone files. So for example, if I click one of these files, like this one says DJI 0325. So let's play that and have a look what that is. So it looks like Wazir and I are over at which park is this? I believe this is Enfield Playing Fields, and we were there practicing back when I first got the drone, and I'm sure there's a lot of nice footage in this clip that can be used with the right editing. So let's select another file here at random, like this one here in the middle, and this here is I believe a GoPro file because it starts with GX. So GoPro files start with either GX or GH. So let's go ahead and play this file and see what this is of. Oh, unfortunately, my laptop can't play this file at the moment, but I could if I installed another program, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. So the point is, I believe that would have been a GoPro file. So let's try this one here, GH. So this is GH. And this is the time I went walking around with Edward, walking around Alexandra Palace with Will and Edward, and I recorded this beautiful time lapse. And with some editing, this time-lapse video can be made to look even better. So you can see that we are moving very fast in the video, but actually because of it being a time-lapse, you're seeing maybe like 20, every minute is maybe 10 minutes of walking. So if you see 3 minutes, that's just been walking for 30 minutes. So anyway, enough of that. That's the point. That's the data I have on this card, and I'm going to be backing it up to the drive so that I can then use the card for other stuff. So let me begin the copy now. And then I'll just leave this screen on, and I'll leave the computer on, and I'm going to go take my dog to the garden, and I'll come back once the data has been backed up. So we can see that the computer is currently estimating 4.5 hours to complete the backup. I'm not sure why it's that slow. It should be faster than that because I am using a USB 3 plug for the drive. So it just means that that's probably the read speed. The SD card cannot, the computer cannot read the data on the little SD card so fast. So I believe if we were copying from one hard drive to another hard drive, it would be much faster. But because we're copying from a little SD over to a hard drive, it's estimating 4.5 hours to complete this backup. So Well, that's it then. I'll just leave the computer alone for 4.5 hours, because anything you do on the computer, any other tasks, will only slow down this copying. If I started, like, for example, watching YouTube videos on this laptop, the copying would slow down because the CPU would get distracted by trying to decode the YouTube video I want to watch. But the thing to do is to leave the computer alone, and that way it will do its work faster because it can focus on one task. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And so let's leave it, and hopefully this estimate will drop as well as time goes on. So if the write speed increases, this estimate might suddenly say 1.5 hours instead of 4, but I really doubt that because the read speed here seems quite consistent. It's saying about somewhere between 29 and 30 megabits per second. Is really consistent, and it's not fluctuating a lot, which makes me believe, unfortunately, that this estimate is quite accurate. 4.5 hours to do the backup. So let's go ahead and leave the computer alone for 4.5 hours, and I'm gonna go away, take my dog to the garden, whatever, but I'm gonna speed up this footage now, and then I'll tell you what time it took. So if you'll note down here in the clock, it says it's currently 9 a.m. on May 27, 2021. So I'm going to come back just as it's about to finish the copying, and we can check what time it is. So I'll see you later. Bye. So okay, so the time now is 11:48, almost 11:50, and the copying is about 58%. So I started at 9 a.m., so that's about 2 hours and 50 minutes. 9, 10, 11, and then, yeah, so it's about 2 hours and 48 minutes since it's 2 hours 48 minutes since I started the copy, and the Windows estimate for completion is still another hour and 55 minutes. So it should be finished around like 1 or 2. So imagine that I started this backup at 9 a.m. and it's not going to finish till about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So this really is like a mammoth, like it really is like a really, you know, data intensive process to back up this information. So I'll come back when it's closer to finish, maybe like 95%, 97%, something like this, and then we'll see how long it really takes in reality, because the original estimate, I believe, was like 5.5 hours or 4.5 hours. So we'll see how long it actually took in reality. But it's been, you can see that the data transmission rate has been very stable between 29 and 30 megabytes per second. So it's been quite stable. So it means that the estimate should be quite accurate, because the data transmission rate is not fluctuating a lot. It's not going high and low. It's really stable around 29 to 30 megabits per second. So the Windows estimate of 1 hour 55 minutes remaining, the estimate should be accurate. So like I said, I'm gonna come back nearer to the time, and we'll check the time and see how long it really took. All right, everybody, so I'm back now, and the data backup has completed. We can see the time is now 2:34 p.m. on the 27th of May 2021, and we can see that on the new drive that's come, the new drive that I'm using for the backup, I've used 479 gigabytes of it, and then on the SD card, I've now formatted it and it's blank, so it's ready for new data, and it's showing free space. So this was red before. This was like 100. It was using, I think, like 99.5% of the space, so it was almost 100% full, no room for anything else. Now look at that, completely empty. Gray line means it's completely empty, so we don't want to see any red. Red is bad because red means the drive is full. And then here you can see, even after one backup of the card, the drive is only maybe like a quarter full. No, that's more than a quarter. But you can see, if given that amount of data, I could maybe fill it to hit, if another backup would take it halfway, a third back. So yeah, it's about 1/4 full. So I would be able to back up, this SD card to this drive about 3 or 4 times before this drive would be full. So that's pretty good, because the drive was 100% full nearly, but on the new drive it's only about a quarter of the drive is full. And then here you can see I'm still having a big problem with my internal disk being nearly full, but I'll solve that soon, because the drive that came in this computer was only 200 gigabytes. And so my plan is to remove this original drive that came in my laptop and replace it with one of these 2 terabyte drives. And that should give me more space, because you see the problem, I only have 3.83 gigabytes free. And the problem with that is that the program Premiere will malfunction. It won't work properly unless I delete some stuff, but I don't want to delete stuff because it's, you know, it's a lot of memories and stuff from Barbados, whatever, that's filling up this space. So the best thing to do is to just remove this drive and have it as an external drive, and then put one of these Samsung drives as my internal drive, and that should get rid of this red line. And because that's the reason why Premiere is not wanting to behave properly, because the drive is too full. It's complaining that I don't have any free space, so I can't edit anything because I don't have free space. But fortunately, I'll go, because look, this is 3.83 gigabytes free, so just about 4 gigabytes free. And then on the new drive, it has 1,350 gigabytes free. Yeah. So here, this is just under 4 gigabytes available space, and the new drive has 1,350. So there's a massive difference between 4 gigabytes and 1,350 gigabytes. Is the massive difference. So if by putting one of these 2 terabyte drives in my computer, I will go from having a free space of about 4 gigabytes to having a free space of about, you know, 2,000 gigabytes, or it'll be more like 1,000, you know, 1,800 gigabytes, something like this. So which is still a big difference. It's still a big difference between 4 and 1,800. It's a massive difference. So anyway, that's the end of this video. You can see how long the backup took, from 9 a.m. to about 2:30 p.m. It took a astonishingly long time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.